Right, okay, then, everybody, welcome to XLR. We've got round 6 today of the Tier 1 season taking place at the Suzuka circuit in Japan. And at the moment, we are just waiting to see some on-track action. There's just no one choosing to go out particularly early round this circuit today. And no one's. Yeah, there's no one going out on track, on my screen at least. Oh yeah, I think it showed us. It showed us starting earlier than we should have done. That's why. Yeah, because it went straight in rather than going through all the loading screens. The timer is now ticking, so there we go. We do have some cars coming out on track. We've got D10 just heading out at the moment in the Alfa Romeo, and I think he is the only one going this early. There's also the other Alfa Romeo following him of Happy Man. Yeah, and there's also a Haas car of there's also the Haas car of Perkins. She's on her way out as well. Yeah, now that we've had one, we've got quite a few. We've got Dan heading out, we've got War, we've got L Plan. Yeah, it just took a while to get a few people out. But the first driver leading them out is still D10, heading through, that's the second Degner at the moment, and then into the chicane, into the hairpin, not the chicane. And then he just takes us to the right at 12, and into spoon curve of turn 13 and 14. And then this is the sort of point where a driver will start preparing their laps. As they just take us towards the left-hander of 130R, turn number 15. And then it's that final chicane, turns 16 and 17. And D10 gets on the power and starts deploying ERS and gets us underway for the on-track action of Q1. And he's blasting down towards that first corner for it's a high-speed, two high-speed right-handers taking that in 5th gear before he gets back on the power. And then it's through the S section, super easy to just go slightly offline, and that is the sort of point where it costs you multiple tenths of a second just from one tiny little missing of an apex. Now, the sun is right on my track map. He's heading into turns 8 and down into 9 of the two Degners for its under the bridge to the right and into the hairpin left of turn 11. So it's so far looking like it's been a pretty decent lap from the Alfa Romeo. But there's still a little way left for him to go. Only about halfway through the lap at this stage. But it's definitely the most difficult part of the circuit. And now he gets just back on the power again towards the start of that final sector. And he crosses that split now with a 1 minute 11.232. There's to the left of 130, and it's back on the brakes again. And he takes us through that final chicane, back on the power, round that final corner, keeping tight to the inside line. And it's a 127.9 as your early benchmark in Q1. It's a 28.8 from the Haas car behind of Perkins, filling in for... Who is he filling in for? I'm not... Yeah. Dan with a 132.4 on that intermediate compound. War with a 29.4. And El Plan with a 127.9. Narrowly falling short of D10's benchmark, but still a very solid lap. Happy Man around the final corner in the Alfa Romeo. It's a 1:27.4. It's a very strong lap from him. Limborder behind, just beginning a flying lap, but that's on the Inters, so don't expect too much time. Mr. Business as well, just starting his first flying run, filling in for Pyro today. Sweatback Flame also on the intermediate tyres, just going for a run. And then we have Rocky into that final chicane. Just gets it stopped, hitting his apexes, back on the power. And around the final corner he goes. Tight to the pit wall. And it's a 1:28.2 from Rocky. So kind of in the middle of L Plan and Perkins. Then we have Fuzzle coming into that final chicane. A 1:11.6 in the middle sector. I think that's a little bit short of what D10 set, but only a couple of tenths. And on the medium tyres, so he can't be too disappointed with that as he comes around the final corner. And Fuzzle goes into P5, a 1:28.414. Then behind him, that's Perkins just starting another run. Then it's an Alpine around the final corner, who I believe is War coming into the pit lane. And then it's Liam Walder. He's invalidated his time as well, but it was only an intermediate run. Mr. Business into the final chicane. Just getting it stopped and rotated. Back on the power he goes. And Mr. Business, that's a 1:27.7. Which is a very strong lap, yeah. Then we've got Happy Man into the pit lane. D10 might be going for another run. Currently sitting in P3, having set that early benchmark. Sweatback Flame with a 1:33.0, but that's done on the intermediate tyres, of course. Then as soon as toss into that final chicane. Rocky's just on his way in. Petter Flat's just begun a flying lap. We don't have too many cars on flying laps at this stage. Fuzzling going for one. Perkins is, and she's just coming through the exit of Spoon in towards 130R. But she's backed off that one actually with that flashing rear light. So D10, yeah, he's about a tenth down on his previous best as he heads towards the final chicane now. Can he find that time up? There's a little bit of desync in the lobby as it appears he goes sliding on the grass, but he does come into the pit lane. He will not be improving on that attempt. That's Mr. Business on his way in as well, and then he will be followed by Petter Flat coming in towards that middle sector split with a 1:12.0. So definitely a lot of time left on the table if he wants to come out ahead of Happy Man or Mr. Business, even D10. But he takes us around the final corner and is slotting into P7, a few tenths behind his teammate. Sweatback Flame just on his way in, having done that intermediate run. Then it's Unitos around the final corner. Gonna come up to the line very shortly. And it's P5 at the 28.0. Not a bad lap that from the Dutchman in the Aston Martin. Not sure if you've got anyone else on flying laps. I've got a Zakis Beast who's just begun a run. He is a tiny bit up on his time, about a tenth of a second. Yeah, he lost a bit, but there could be some in this final chicane here. As he comes up to the line, is he going to finish off the lap? He is, and what's it going to be? It's a bit over a tenth found, closer to 2, and it's good enough to jump him up ahead of Rocky, pipping him by about 2/100ths of a second. And Dan he's slowing down to get out of the way of other drivers, and he's been disqualified for blocking the pit lane. Yeah. And in doing so, he might have accidentally blocked El Plan with his with his disqualifying car. I think what happened was that he was, like, through the first sector, I think his car, under AI control, blocked El Plan. So, in trying to get out of the way, he's ended up getting himself disqualified and blocking someone. So, it's not the ideal few seconds for him as Zakis Beast comes around the final corner and jumps up into P8 with a 128.7. Then that is Petter flat around the final corner. He's just beginning another run. And then it's the Aston Martin of Unitos beginning another one as well. Then we have a Haskell Frosted Cheese starting a lap, as is Limborder in that final chicane. And then, I believe we got Shakos, who is also in that final chicane. Fresh jumps himself up into P6 as well, so that's going on. I doubt... Petroflat is still 2/10 up after the first two sectors. So he might still have a chance as he comes around the final corner, opens up the DRS, and Petroflat improves by 3/10, getting him into P9, and a decent bit further up the order. Around the final corner comes Frosted Cheese, and it jumps into P6 with a 127.9. Then it's the other Haas car of Perkins, and Shakos with a 127.1, really turning up round here at Suzuka. Jumps to the top by, quite a way, but Jamie Dodge beats that by a further 3/10 with a 126.8. Then, Liam Ward, having invalidated, is about to go again. Then have an Alpha Tauri of Rocky coming into that final sector. And he's 6 seconds down, so he's not going to be improving. I think so, because he had recharged the battery. He's a bit low on fuel, so that might become a problem for him. Jack Imac has stopped pushing with a bit of gravel on his tyres, most likely ran wide during his lap. And unless Petroflat is going again, which he's not, the next across the line is going to be CR Mac around the final corner. Although, no, he's going to pull into the pit lane instead. Jack Imac just beginning a run as well. Unitos into the pit lane, as is his teammate Fresh, who has also run out of fuel. Oh, is that a missing front wing I just saw on a Haas car? Indeed it is. Perkins has, gone. Lost a front wing somewhere during that lap. Liam Borders kept it within the white lines this time around. Comes around the final corner. And the Williams driver jumps up into P4, 127.7. It's not an amazing lap, but it should be enough to get him through. Shakos and Jeremy Dodge both just into the pit lane. They're going to be followed by Perkins. And the only driver we still see on the circuit at the moment is Jack Imac, who is only 10th up through Sector 1, but likely the mistake was later in the lap. So he's just heading around Spoon Curve off turns 13 and 14 before he gets back on the power. And as he crosses into the middle sector, he's 29 seconds up, which would... I'm not sure where that would put him. as he heads around the final chicane, gets back on the plower. And for Jack Imac, he comes across the line and goes into P4 with 36-second improvement to a 127.464. Yes. Yeah, just a few cars on outlaps at the moment. Fuzzle is the furthest around out of that lot, as Limborder will be heading in soon. Apparently it's forecast to rain in this session, but if you've not seen any of that, as Fuzzle just takes himself around the final corner. And he's just beginning his next attempt. I mean, we saw last night, we went from pretty much clear sunny skies to intermediate conditions by the end of Q3. As Liam Ward has has been disconnected from the session and retired by the game. So, I mean, he should be safe at that time anyway, but he's not going to continue in Q1, whether he wanted to or not. Just a few drivers starting laps. First, the next one to begin one is CR right here. And then we got Fuzzle heading through the hairpin of turn 11. He's gonna flick a bit to the right. It's quite a long right-hander considering the speed of it. Then Spoon Curve awaits him of 13 and 14. Gets back on the power. Careful to avoid that Aston Martin on the right-hand side. And then, yeah, 4.5 tenths up for Fuzzle. That's the effect of soft tyres compared to the mediums. Then he gets on the brakes and flicked through the chicane. Gets back on the power. He's going to come round the final corner. Opens that DRS flap. And it's into P5. With a 6/10 improvement, that should get him safely through into Q3. His teammate Petter Flat, along with Sweatback Flame, starting new runs at the moment. Fresh getting a big snap of oversteer through that final corner, which probably has hampered his run all the way down through this run into the first corner. Frosted Cheese just getting a run as well, as is Zakis Beast. Then I believe we see CR Mac around the final corner. Indeed we do. He's kept it within the lines and at a decent pace. And up to the line, it's a 16-second improvement, but he can't get himself out of Q1. D10 improves up to P5, which should be very safe for him if he wants to see further parts of qualifying. Rocky around the final corner is going to make the line with a few seconds to spare. It might be a bit tight for Perkins here. We can't see the times because of the yellow flag on the circuit. Perkins, I see, was on a flying lap, improves up to P14, but that's not going to be safe to get her through into Q2. Next across the line is going to be the Red Bull of Sweatback Flame, heading in towards 130R at the moment. And he's 3 seconds up, but that in of itself would still put him right on the edge. He needs to find even more time through this final corner, or this final chicane. He gets back on the power now, and around the last corner he goes. DRS active. And Sweatback Flame does not get himself through. P16 is the best he could do. Petter Flat does get himself nicely safe. War has invalidated his time. He's going to be out of qualifying as the checkered flag has fallen. Next to the line, Zakis Beast around the final corner at the moment, or into the final chicane. And he... Oh no! That is not going to be good enough to get him through. See, Mac's not improving either. So Perkins will have just about scraped through with that 28.3. I mean, by scraped through... Yeah, I mean, by scraped through, I mean by 0.3 of a second, so it's... Yeah, it's so easy to do at that last corner. Yeah, just a tiny little dip onto that curb really can do that to you. CR making sure he stays out of the way, out of fuel. Although, if he does block anyone, it's not going to affect the final results, as everyone is confirmed whether they'll be through or not, and we just await the start of Q2. Alright, so, wait. I just realised I had Discord muted this the entire time. Right, so Q1 was topped by Jamie Dodge by about 2.5 tenths to Shakos, who was a further 3 tenths ahead of Happy Man, followed by Jack Imac, D10, Fuzzle, Liam Wilder, Mr. Business, Unitos, and Rocky, and they're followed by L Plan, Frosted Cheese, Petter Flat Fresh, and Birkins, and then knocked out in Q1 will be Sweatback Flame, Zack is Beast, War, CR Mac, and Dan. Still not raining yet.
Not just yet. But there are clouds forming.
Yeah.
Not just much, but they're coming.
We might see some rain by the time we get to Q3. And if it's similar to last night, it will be basically a one-lap shootout to see who can get round the fastest before it starts absolutely hammering with rain. And it's those sort of situations where qualifying does become rather boring. For the amount of cars we're seeing going out very quickly, I think it's meant to rain during this session.
Wow. Well, let's just see who's the first out.
L Plan in
isn't it?
the Williams. And then it's the 2 Alfa Romeos, then the Haas of Perkins, and the McLaren of Fuzzle. A lot of drivers going.
There are clouds coming together.
Yeah. And it's a.
Clear,
I mean, there's still 15 minutes until the end of the session. We could easily see rain in that time.
Yeah, because if you were staying out, you got. I mean.
Yeah.
Jack, you got.
Yeah, Shakos never.
Jack,
like
Petlat,
it's
Liam.
From the looks of things. No, the clouds have definitely formed more than they were literally 2 minutes ago at the start of the session. Yeah, Shakos is on his way out. They're all on their way out. They have to be. They all have to be on their way out right now because of how much these clouds are forming over the pit lane. If they take too long, they're going to be caught out by the rain. El Plan going very wide at Spoon.
No, doesn't surprise me.
I mean, it's not into the gravel, but definitely wider than you're meant to be.
I mean, he's not out, which is the main thing, you know.
Yeah, it's not going to affect its run at all. It's just quite funny that I cut to him and he goes miles wide. Jack Imac still remaining in the box. He's only just leaving now, as El Plan is heading around the final chicane. So Jack Imac could be in a bit of trouble if the rain comes sooner rather than later. But El Plan does begin what will be the first run of Q2, barreling in towards that first corner. And takes us through the first chicane, gets it. It's a long right-hander for turn 2. Then it's to the left, to the right again. And then back to the left. You want to take enough curb, but not too much that you spin your car out. uphill to the left again. Gets back on the power. And then it's the two Degner corners. Very easy to dip a tyre into the gravel round here. But it's a bit wide. Bit wide through the second Degner.
Oh, I thought Jack was on the lap then. I don't know why.
No,
So
he did have a big old drift, but he's not on a lap. So Fuzzle will be the first to set a run in Q2, sorry. He heads in towards the hairpin of turn 11. Before he gets back on the power again. The question is, does El Plan have enough fuel to go for another run? No, he doesn't. El Plan's fuel light is on. So if the rain is soon, then El Plan will be out in Q2. But the rain isn't falling just yet.
He might have a bit of time.
Yeah, he's got to get a quick turnaround from the Williams mechanics. They need to, like, bring him in, refuel him, and chuck him straight back out again. 1:11.3 in the middle section from Fuzzle. Could be better, but it's pretty decent as they go. He needs to navigate the last chicane nicely, and he gets back on the power. Doesn't have any form of spin, and he comes across the line, and Fuzzle with a 28.0 as the first run of the session. Jack Imac has come back into the pit lane as well.
Oh, I wonder if he got damage.
Perkins with a 1:27.9, fresh, having a big slide through the final corner, but can still match that with also a 27.9. Around the final corner comes Happy Man with a 1:27.2, takes that P1 position by 0.7 of a second. Jamie Dodge cannot match that, can only match a 27.8, which is honestly quite a poor lap from him. Frosted Cheese jumps up into P4 with a 27.9. Then it's Mr. Business, who can only manage a 27.0. So Fuzzle's time, which seemed to be a really solid one, is not paying out well for him. So he's dropped all the way down to P9 with Rocky improving to a 27.6. Fuzzle's teammate Petter Flat with a 27.7. A D10 not with a competitive time.
Great lap. I was going to say, it's probably... Some of these guys are probably using scrub tyres, I reckon.
Yeah.
To try and save some tyre wear, really, but I don't think it's paid off for them as much.
Yes, Limborder goes to the top of just saying that, but that's instantly broken by Shakos by 0.3 of a second. Jamie Dodge has definitely done that on scrubs. Either that, or he's made a huge error, because he is not a second slower than Shakos.
No, and he's got the pace. Definitely has the pace.
Yeah. Both Jack Imac and El Plan have put their way back onto the circuit. I mean, there's no signs of rain just yet. It's definitely more clouded than it was. But there's still glimpses of sunshine.
Yeah, I don't know if this rain is going to come. Maybe... I don't know how long's left in all fairness, but
9 minutes. I think we won't see any till Q3.
Maybe, yeah. I think that's what it's looking like for the time being.
Because it's clouding over a lot, but I don't think
it's not dark clouds though.
Yes, across the line there came
light clouds.
That was an improvement from someone, couldn't tell you who. It's D10 who jumped up into P7 with a 27.8. I think they're all going back out on the track again. Perkins has retired down in P10, so she's going to be out in Q2 most likely. So we still have Jack Imac and El Plan to set times, who are both very quick drivers. Shakos into the pit lane is not going to go for any further runs. I mean, he doesn't really have any reason to. Oh, El Plan goes skating off the road at the top of the hill of turn 7. He just got a bit wide and then went skating through the gravel. That's going to cost him on this attempt. The question is, does he have enough fuel to go again?
Yeah, it's not Estonia, mate. There's sunshine weather in Japan.
He's not doing rallying. Unatos is 0.3 up after the middle sector. He's going to be setting a pretty competitive time.
Oh.
Yes, it's looking like it's going to be a pretty competitive time for Unatos as he comes around the final corner. And up to the line he goes. It's P4 with a 3/10 improvement. Our plan doesn't have the fuel this time again. He didn't learn from his mistakes and fuel up more. He's gone out again with low fuel.
Damn it, our plan. Damn it. When are you gonna learn?
I guess he's just hoping he's gonna get his first lap right.
Jack needs to get a lap in.
Yeah, he's coming around the final corner. He's got the fuel. He's going
needs a
again.
lap.
Yeah, I mean, there's only 6 minutes left, and these tyres are going to be rather worn by now. As Fuzzle's getting ready to go for a lap as well, he's got a Jammy Dodge behind him, who is most definitely wanting another run, as he has a lot more pace than what P8 is showing. Yeah, Jack's being understandably very cautious through this first sector, just wanting to get this lap on the board, because no lap equals no Q2, regardless of how good it is. 31.1 after that first sector. Goes a bit wide again!
It's done the same again. With 6 minutes. Oh dear, Jack.
He can go for another run. Just...
If he's got enough fuel, obviously.
Well, he can... I meant more. He can go out and... Again. Like, he's got plenty of time for that.
Yeah.
He's recharging his battery, so it may be that he's trying to go again. I mean, he's got no fuel light yet. Just the question is, will he have a fuel light on by the time he gets to the final corner?
Alright, here we go with Jammy Dodge. Half a second up.
Yeah, that's much better for him. We've also got Fuzzle on a run. Just taking us through in towards Spoon at the moment. Jack Imac is coming into the pit lane. Yeah, so he's going to refuel, go again. Fuzzle was close to 4/10 up after that first sector. What's it looking like after the middle sector? 8/10 up for Fuzzle. Yes, a much stronger lap so far. So he takes us into that final chicane. To the left, to the right, to the left. A bit out of shape on the traction zone, but he comes across the line and into P3 with a 9/10 improvement.
Nice.
Not bad at all. Can
Nice.
be very happy with that if you are Fuzzle. So around the final corner comes Jammy Dodge. Yeah, that's much more
That's a
what
reasonable
would be
one,
expecting. Yeah, it's forecast to be raining in Q2 as well, but not seen any.
I'm just trying to have a look now on boards, but
Yeah,
it doesn't seem,
there are
there's no
some
changes.
clouds, but it's
There's
very
not
similar
massive
to how it,
changes.
yeah, it's very similar to how it was. Rocky invalidates his time and pulls into the pit lane. L-Plan's gone out again. What are the odds he completes this lap this time around?
Don't mess it up now.
Yeah, that improvement from Fuzzle, though, does mean Perkins is knocked out in Q2, but I don't think she minds that much, as she never really worries too much about qualifying, because you don't earn points on a Saturday unless it's a sprint weekend. You earn your points in the Grand Prix on the Sunday. Although the qualifying is also on the Sunday. As Fresh just starting a run as well. And then we've got Shakos back on the lap, which is interesting.
Probably wants to knock off me out,
Yeah.
Jammy.
I mean,
Off,
like that.
Sorry. Go ahead.
Has our plan done it again?
He had a drift again.
I mean, at least he kept it on the road, did he?
He's facing it the right way, so
He's dipping a
still in
wheel
it.
in the grass through turn
he's not
12.
dead yet.
Oh, that's a bit wide, but he's kept it within the lines.
He's just trying to get a lap in.
Yeah.
He's just desperate.
What's it looking like into that final sector? So 1:10.6. Yes, that will be a pretty decent time. I think that would see him top 7.
I would put him in the 27s if I can remember.
Yeah,
Just looking back at Q1.
I mean, pretty much everyone has 27s. As around the final corner comes
Okay,
El Plan. He's completed this lap.
yeah.
P6. Yeah, that will do
Yeah.
him nicely. D10
Right.
2 and a bit tense up as he comes into the final chicane. that would see him to around P8, unless he can find even more time through this final sector. And he finds 2.5 tenths, which does indeed put him into P8. Fresh around the final corner, in the drop zone at the moment. No longer in the drop zone, as he improves up to P7. And that's putting Unitos closer to that drop zone. He's not exactly safe. Or definitely not as safe as he thought he would have been when he set it. Shakos doesn't need a lap, but he's 2 tenths up. Which, if he can get a decent last chicane, he may end up taking the top spot in Q2. As around the final corner he goes, and Chakos, he loses some time in that final sector, but at least he's nice and safe for Q3.
Oh yeah, by a mile.
Yeah, there's not a chance everyone's improving to knock him out.
Come on, Jack. Right, he's got it this time, he's done it this time, he hasn't been about it.
I mean, it's technically possible that Shakos gets knocked out. It is
How many drivers? 1, 2,
there are enough drivers behind him to knock him out, but every single one is going to have to...
Oh, who's gone off? Mr. Business has gone off.
Oh.
Where is he?
Oh, he's lost his wing. Left, he's had a tap with a barrier. He's lost his front wing. That's going to be him out in Q2, so that's Shakos safe then.
Yes, and then they gone. Frosted Cheese started a lap.
Yeah, Frosted Cheese down in that drop zone will need a lap. Jack Imac into the final chicane with a 1:10.4, so similar sort of Delta 2L plan as he comes around the final chicane and up to the line he goes. Jack Imac into P3. That is nice and safe.
Needed. Much needed.
D10 is going slowly with not much ERS. He's going to be right on the limit. He's out of fuel, no ERS.
Oh, what's happened here? Oh, right, so... I think the only person that can eliminate him is Frosted Cheese.
Petter Flat is... How long do we have till the Jacket Flag? 25 seconds. He'll be fine. Frosted Cheese will get there, I think. Actually, no, he might not.
Oh,
no, he won't.
He's on the lap. He is on the lap.
It's not a competitive lap.
Is it not?
It'll be tight with the line for Frosted Cheese, but I think he'll make it.
Frosted Cheese is on the hot lap.
It's not a competitive one.
Oh, right, sorry, sorry.
Petter Flat.
That's what I was trying to say. Yeah.
Yeah. Frosted Cheese.
What's he on?
Petter Flat's just started.
Oh, yeah, he's nowhere well.
Yeah, he's only half a tenth up. That's not going to be enough unless he...
close enough.
Unless it's a brilliant last chicane. So the checkered flag has now fallen. So that's Mr. Business and Rocky both eliminated. So it's down to whether either Petter Flat or Frosted Cheese can improve enough to knock D10 out. Frosted Cheese improves up to P11. And he's still a couple of tenths off that time of D10.
Yeah. Rocky's in the pit lane.
Yeah.
So it's down to
Petter Flat only about half a tenth up through that first sector. But there still is a tiny chance that he can get anywhere. Or maybe not, as that's a big mistake on the exit of turn 11. Yeah, and he's backed off. That's him out. As Mr. Business is...
gone off again. Well, I think he tried to crash himself out.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Yeah, he's knocked out though.
D10's a lucky boy. He's a very lucky boy.
Yeah, and he was 2 tenths up, but Mr. Business trying to drift that that hairpin, and yeah, it's not been a great qualifying session from Mr. Business. Yeah, it's worn tyres from D10. He managed to get through on them. Yeah, so just waiting for Petter Flat and Mr. Business to make their ways back to the pit lane. Shakos' second run there was on used tyres. I mean, a 0.7 on used tyres, not bad at all.
Not bad.
I mean, but Jammy Dodger's time was also done on used. Yes, they both come into the pits, and then we wait, and then we go on to Q3. I think actually that fastest lap at the end from Jammy was on fresh. – Like the first one was used, the second one was fresh.
It makes sense though, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It does when you think about it. His first lap was not like his first one.
Yeah.
Nowhere
I mean,
near it.
Shakos' time there was on scrubs, so...
Can't believe that. Both on scrubs.
No,
Goodness me.
the second time from
Oh,
Jamie,
was the
so
second time.
yeah, his fastest one was
Yeah.
on new. So, Jamie Dodge topping Q2 as well, followed by Shakos and Jack Imac, and then Liam Boulder, Fuzzle, Happy Man, L Plan, Fresh, Unitos, and D10. And then knocked out, we have Frosted Cheese, Petter Flat, Rocky, Perkins, and Mr. Business. I'm just noticing you can see marks of like tire tracks with gravel on it, which I think is from Mr. Business.
Probably. It
Just-
wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah. He did go completely straight on.
Oh, look at those clouds now, though.
Yeah, it's going to be 1 or 2 runs until we get rain.
I think it's going to be a straight out. All 10
Yep.
drivers straight out.
No one going just yet.
Waiting to load in, and there you go.
Yeah. Yep, D10's on his way out.
No surprise.
Liam and El Plan. When Liam goes out early, that's when you know it. You need to.
And Shaq
Shakos
as well.
still yet to go out onto the track though. Same with Jack Imac. I think that's El Plan, the first one out. The 2 Williams are the first 2
Oh, a lot of them are
onto
coming
the.
out.
Yeah, there's so much traffic. I think Shakos might just be waiting for like half a lap
Wait for it.
just
Yeah,
to
he'll
get a
wait for
bit
everyone
more
to go
clean air.
out. Yeah, you'll wait for
You
everyone
need to
go
be
out and
quick,
then-
but at the same time, is it worth the dirty air? Jack Imac, yeah, they're both on their way out now. Jack Imac and Shakos. So El Plan's the first one out again. This time he's followed by his teammate Liam Boulder, who's followed by D10, and then Fuzzle and Happy Man. So Jack Imac is a tiny bit ahead of Shakos as they both come out of the pits, both choosing to wait about half a lap before they each go out to the circuit. I mean, that half a lap is just the difference between a risk of blocking and a risk of not, of a no risk of it. But it may also be the difference between full dry and rain. El Plan goes skating off the track again on his out lap.
What's he doing?
Like, I don't know how he's getting that much understeer on an out lap, but it's really just not necessary. Because it kind of just seems that his car just didn't turn through that second part of Spoon. I mean, he's taking us through the final corner anyway. Not too much damage done to his tyres from the gravel. And El Plan gets the first runs of Q3 underway. First and possibly the only runs of Q3 if it does begin to rain. Just taking us through that first sector. The last to set a lap, at least out of these guys, or on these first runs, is going to be Shakos, who's coming around turn 12 at the moment. El Plan just, I think he's making sure it's a safe lap this time around. They're saying that he does go right up to the curb there. Yeah, the second deck, no risks taken. Nice and far from any white lines. And it takes us around the hairpin of 11 and in through the right of 12. Jack Imac's come back in.
What on earth? What is he doing?
So Jack Imac is not going to set a first run. As El Plan taking us in towards 130R with a 110.9 in that middle sector. So it's not great, but it's not the worst time ever. He's definitely going to want to improve that though, although he might not get the opportunity to as he comes around the final corner. And El Plan sets to 27.5 as the first run of Q3. Around the final corner comes D10 in the Alfa Romeo, and it's a 27.2, so immediately improving on that time of the Estonian. 27.1 from Liam Walder. And then Fuzzle can only manage a 27.3. Unitos can only manage a 27.8. Then Jamie Dodge across the line with a 26.4. Yeah, it's pretty much a different league at the moment between Jamie Dodge and Shakos in this qualifying session. Happy Man can pip Liam Walder by about 5 thousandths of a second. Fresh can only manage a 28.0. And it's not a great lap from him. Shakos 110.1 through that middle sector. The pace here from Shakos is looking very strong as he takes us through that final chicane. Will it be enough though as he comes around the final corner up to the line? And Shakos, he misses out, but yeah, just over 1/10 of a second. So it's advantage Jamie Dodge after those first runs. He is on provisional pole position. No signs of rain just
Look
yet.
at that cloud though, it is getting
Yeah,
darker.
there's some very dark clouds.
And
It's incredibly overcast.
Jack
But
is
looking on,
numerous,
yeah, there's no rain yet, but it is certainly,
100%.
yeah, it's very, very overcast. And if Jack's not careful, he could encounter rain during his lap. There's none yet, but the weather on this game does turn quickly and randomly, and the game decides, like, it's pretty much a snap moment between slicks being faster and then it being inters. But of course, as soon as it starts raining, you will be slower than before, and these clouds are certainly darkening as Jack Imac begins probably his only run of Q3.
Yeah.
He needs to be careful of that Aston Martin ahead of him, although I think whoever it is, I believe that that's Unitos actually, is towards the start of a flying lap. It's not amazing through turn 5, I believe that was, from Jack
Through all
Imac.
the Asses, really. Through all the
Yeah.
Asses. He was a bit shaky on all the curves here. Didn't quite hit the apexes properly.
See, yeah, through Deckness, he keeps it within the white lines this time around. But just keeping it within the white lines isn't going to be enough if this is his only run of the session. See, he takes us through turn 11. He needs a lap at the same time. He wants a fast one. And Spoon Curve awaits him as he's going to flick it to the left. Oh, it's on, yeah, he clipped the grass on the entry. Although, honestly, that kind of just got him a bit of extra rotation through the corner. Unzos has invalidated his time, so he's not going to be improving. He's getting a nice toe here from Unzos, but he's 4/10 down compared to what Shakos had, and Shakos was only able to go into P2. See, it's too much curb, too much inside curb. That is quite possibly 10th on the grid. Yes, it could quite possibly be 10th on the grid for Jack Imac. Fresh is heading back out onto the circuit. Jack Imac retires. He's convinced there's no salvaging this session. They're all coming back onto the track.
As well. Oh wow, D10's retired in the pit lane as well. Wow. So they don't think it's going to be enough.
Yeah,
it's not raining yet though.
It's not raining yet, and it's now or never for second runs. And Shakos is only just coming out for a run. He might be a bit too late.
Yeah, it might be too little too late for him.
Like, I'm sure he could set a very strong time. But the question is, will he get a fully dry lap? We just got to wait and see as Fuzzle lets L plan through. And it started raining. It has started. The rain is here. And I don't think anyone else is going to improve.
I can't see it. Well,
as our plan is just beginning.
Else on the lap? Yeah, we can go on board.
No one is. The furthest around a lap is El Plan, who's taking us through the first couple of corners and in towards the S's. You can see he's struggling a bit for front end grip, but to be honest, is not looking too bad for El Plan. As he's around turn 7. It's pretty neat and tidy considering how much it's raining. But he is 2
Two
tenths
tenths
down. Yeah, that's qualifying over.
That's it.
Unless Fuzzle's improving, I'm not sure. Like, it shows purple,
well-
but I don't know if he's actually improving or not. He needs to be careful of the Williams of El Plan. Fuzzle is really
Jamie's
the
not
lost.
improving.
Yeah,
Yeah, Jamie's not improving as
yeah,
well.
Fuzzle's the only person. Like, he's got the best conditions, but I think they're just too bad. Like, the conditions aren't going to be good enough. It's raining quite heavily now, and we're not going to see any improvements. But what that will mean is that Jeremy Dodge has taken pole position, and he's going to be joined by Shakos on the front row. Fuzzle a 10th down after the middle sector. So, Jeremy Dodge is going to be joined by Shakos on the front row. Happy Man and Liam Boulder forming row 2. And then it's D10 and Fuzzle, El Plan and Unitos, and then Fresh and Jack Imac. Yeah, the rain's
Hold on a
here.
sec. Fresh is 2 times up. Hold on.
He had a very poor first lap. I mean, he's going to lose that time again in this middle sector.
Yeah, the Shaq and Jamie have pitted, so...
Yeah, there's no improvements left on this track. I mean, he is still up, actually. He's coping with the conditions. He needs 2 tenths if he wants to improve compared to Unitos, so he might actually somehow gain a position and head of his temporary teammate. So he comes around the final corner. He does! 3 and a bit tenths found. It was a pretty scruffy lap from Unitos, and he's been punished for that.
Somehow found a way.
Yeah.
That's off. And yeah, he's going to go into the wall.
Yeah, there's no other laps.
I think,
being set,
yeah,
though.
everyone else will retire, and then we'll just go.
Yeah, Shackles messed up the first lap, didn't get the chance for the second. It's Fuzzle and Fresh left on the circuit. Fresh is reversing.
He's going to get himself disqualified.
No, that's legal because he's going in the right direction.
Somehow. Unbelievable.
This is one of the things I tested on F1 2021. I think it was like a cheeky 90,000 views I got for it. Something like that.
Nice.
It was just to the point where I could post literally anything and it would do really well. Alright, let's see how it did. It was only 60,000, so I over-exaggerated a bit. But still, 56,000 for something that took me about 10 minutes?
Yeah. Guess the job done.
Yeah. Alright, we just wait for Fresh, and then we move on into the Grand Prix.
And into the wall Fresh goes, but still does not tire. Oh, he's tried again. Still can't do it. Is he going to try again? No.
Nope. He's trying again. I think he's got... Like, he's in low fuel mode, so I don't think he will have the chance.
Oh, he can't do it. I see. No.
There we go.
Hey, hey. Here we go.
So, we've got Jamie Dodge on pole position, followed by Shakos, pipping the German by about a tenth of a second. Then it's followed by Happy Man, Liam Warder, D10, Fuzzle, L Plan, Fresh, Unitos, and Jack Imac, who is unable to set a time.
Right, just give me a few mo. I'll be back up with you.
It's looking pretty overcast for the race as well. We might see some rain in the race. It wasn't forecast to, but then it was forecast to rain in Q1 and Q2, so you never can tell. Right. And we just wait to get underway. Just wait till we get going on the grid.
Yeah, countdown's on.
Yeah. Just waiting for a bit until everyone ready's up. Here we go. And are we? Are we going? What's D10? What's D10 doing?
He just connected. He disconnected.
Ah. It's... It didn't... Like, he went onto the grass on my screen and just overtook everyone.
Yeah, he got power.
Yeah. Okay, that's
In
fair
the
enough then. So, yes. It's looking like hard for most of the field. The top 6 of Jamie Dodge Shakos, Happy Man, Leoborder and D10 all going with the hards. Then it's Fuzzle and El Plan on mediums, Fresh on the hards. Then Unitos, Jack Imac, Frosted Cheese, Peta Flat and Rocky on the mediums. Is that a bit of rain I just saw? I feel like it was, but don't think it was. Perkins. Yeah, I thought I saw a bit, like, on the camera. Perkins and Mr. Business on hards, and then Sweatback Flame on the mediums. Zakis Beast, War, CR Mac, and Dan all going for the hards.
Yeah, D10's AI is just bolted.
Yeah.
What's going on, Jamie? You're not with the 10 car legs. Unbelievable. What are you doing?
Yes. The game reckons a soft medium might be possible around here. I mean, that's what...
It is doable.
Yeah, it might be what some of the guys starting on the mediums are attempting.
It is doable.
Yeah, to go medium soft. No one started on the softs. And so D10's going to have to wait till after the start to take control, which sucks. Yeah, so it's just going around to the final chicane. D10's tyres are going to be stone cold, as he's only just parking up now. Like, those tyres are going to be completely stone cold, as he's just sitting here waiting.
Oh well.
Yeah, so Shakos starting on the...
at least he's in the race.
Yeah, at least he'll be here for the race. Shakos starting second, and Dan starting at the back. It's almost a Ferrari sandwich, not quite. As we are just waiting now for the last car of Dan to park himself in his grid spot. War missed his spot, the only one to have done so. It's 27 laps of the Japanese Grand Prix ahead of us, and it's like... No, it's not. Okay. A decent jump the start, and his lights out, and away we go. And Shakos does get a good start. He's alongside Jamie Dodge before turn 1. Can he stick a nose up the inside? They're going to go wheel to wheel through that first corner. But Jamie Dodge does just have it on the outside. It's almost 3 wide. In the background, it is 3 wide. As Jack Hyman's had a brilliant start to squeeze himself up into P5. As they all snake their way through the S's. There's a little bit of crunching between... I think there was the 2 Alpines getting involved with a Ferrari. But someone is... D10's been disqualified.
Shit. Yeah, we'll have to restart it. That's. I'll get the race director now.
Need to get it for the grid.
So, yeah, I can get that sorted.
Okay. That sucks.
Yeah, I'll just make sure I got everyone.
Brilliant game. Esports ready game, if you ask me.
Well, 23's ended in 3 weeks' time.
Yeah, F1 24 doesn't look like it's going to be much better. Kind of feel bad for Jack Imac after that, 'cause he'd had a brilliant start.
Yeah, it was just... Well, I was hoping... I was keeping my fingers crossed because we haven't had a restart for a long time.
Yeah, we've had a few in tier 1, but... Oh, tier 2, sorry.
And I was hoping we'd get away with it, but the game has just messed everyone up.
Yeah.
So much. So bad.
And there's the bug on...
There's
the bug at the start of the game where you would, if you got disqualified from the formation lap, you'd get disqualified from the race.
Right. That explains it.
It's a different.
That's bad though.
Like it's a different bug to that, but I think his car just his AI jumped the start and then got disqualified, or at least he claims it was his AI.
That was...
You getting the new lobby open?
Yeah, I'll invite everyone once I've got everything.
I think
sorted.
think overcast the entire race.
Overcast, bro. Thank you.
Yeah, that's what everyone's saying as well. It definitely
you.
started overcast. Everyone else is saying cloudy. I mean, I don't know if they mean
Oh yeah.
overcast or light cloud, but it was definitely full
Oh,
dry.
I'll keep it overcast for now. Then.
Yeah, it was definitely full dry though,
If
so it shouldn't make too much difference.
Okay, right. I think I've got this sorted. Recently played with. Happy comes in.
I'm sorry, Wacky. Oh, text was nice to change his colour. I would
Oh, nice.
like, right. Let's have a quick 2-minute poll
Yeah,
in
you
the
do.
chat. Like, let's do a very quick one because the race is literally about to start.
Well, the bat builders in driver's
Yeah,
anyway.
I know, I know, but like, how do you? Oh no, I need to do it on Twitch Studio. Start prediction. Start prediction. Who will win? Who's P3? I don't know.
Happy man.
Yeah, sure. I'm just gonna do. Alright. Who's P4? Oh, I forgot. It was like.
Liam Bewalder.
Yeah.
Then D10.
Yeah. Okay, that's right. Submission period. 2 minutes. Start prediction. There we go. Prediction up. Right. Hopefully, we actually get a race this time. That'd be nice.
Fingers crossed. Bets on Liam Bewalder. 1.3.
Yeah, 1,300 channel points, average. Alright, hopefully it goes a bit better this time. We're not... Right. Formation lap is underway again.
Don't scare me again, please.
And it's Jamie, Dodge, and Shakos, Happy Man, Liam Border, and D10 all on the hard tyres like before, but then it's Fuzzle, L-Plan, and Fresh on the mediums. Unitos has gone with the softs this time around. Then it's Jack Omac mediums, Frosted Cheese on the softs, Pesto Flat and Rocky on the mediums, Perkins and Mr. Business on the hards, Sweatback Flame on the mediums, Zakis Beast and War on the hards, CR Mac on the on the soft, sorry, and Dan on the hards.
It's going to be an interesting race. Going to be a very interesting race.
The issue with Suzuka is that it's really a hit or miss circuit. No rain, no chance of rain.
No.
I mean, and there's absolutely zero because it's set to overcast the entire race. Yeah, it's either gonna be a really good race with battling, pretty much constant battling, or it's just gonna become gaps of a bit over a second across the entire field. And it's what you get at a lot of tracks, just 1 second gaps everywhere.
Yeah,
and then
I reckon
nothing.
Shaq and Jamie. Yeah, I reckon Shaq and Jamie.
Yeah, that'll be close. Shakos is typically
battle.
much faster in
Race pace.
Yeah.
Like he always has been, really.
Yeah, he always has been
improvement.
faster in the race. He's just consistent more than anything. Well, they're saying that he had a spin in Bahrain. It's honestly really out of character, just that spin in Bahrain. It's very rare that you see a high-profile mistake like that from Shakos.
Yeah, well, everyone's human though,
Yeah.
and I've done it before many times.
Yeah, of course, but at the same time, is Shakos actually human?
Well, he proved it last weekend.
Yeah. Or maybe they just had to code that into into the robot so that it wouldn't be as obvious.
Yeah. No, but he's a great
Yeah,
guy.
like, and it's just his consistency that wins him everything.
Yeah, he's a fantastic guy. Really, knowing him and how good of a racer he is, you know, you learn from the best. And
He said he'll coach me next season, so that's going to be fun.
Oh, here we go. Here we go.
That's what he said. And also, it's half-term week on the week of the Champions Edition release. It's half-term.
Not bad.
Yes, I've got a free
bad.
time the entire week. And it released on the Tuesday at like 4 AM. Right, take 2 of the Japanese Grand Prix. 5 red lights. And
It does this all the time.
yeah.
Don't know why.
And it's lights out, and away we go. And it's a pretty even start from the front too again, but Jeremy Dodge does have Shackles covered off. Here goes Happy Man around the outside of the Ferrari driver. Can he make it stick? No, he can't. He doesn't have the chance. His teammate D10 had a little look up the inside, but also not an opportunity for him. There's someone spun around. There's a couple of cars spun around. That's Jack Imac who's got involved, as has Perkins. Yes, those two facing the wrong way before we even complete a sector. It's not good, especially for Jack Imac, as he started to pick up a little bit of form towards this part of the season. Here goes Lim Walder almost having a look up the inside into the first Degner on D10, but no opportunities came around there. There's a spin there for Fresh. That's Fresh and the Williams of El Plan who made contact out of the second Degner. Fresh just spinning himself back round to the right way. El Plan dropping down to 17th. Frosted Cheese and Mr. Business make swapping positions. Rocky looking like he wants to go for a move on Petter Flat, but doesn't have an opportunity to do so. Going wide there through Spoon is Fuzzle. That invites Liam Wilder to go through and moves up into 5th place. Well, moves back up into 5th place. It's been a decent start for Unator, decent start for Petter Flat and Rocky. And then, of course, awful starts for El Plan, Jack Imac, Perkins, and Fresh dropping themselves down the order. And see how Max picked up a 5-second time penalty for corner cutting as he is facing the wrong way. I'm not sure how he's ended up there, out of all the places, but he's had a spin and now on the inside of the chicane. Happy Man looking like he's getting close to the back of Shakos, but he has also used a decent bit more ERS than the Ferrari drivers. Sweatback Flames going very slowly through turn 2, dropping himself down to the P16. Not quite sure what's gone on there. I mean, it's all just starting to settle down again, but as I say that, there's little wobbles from both of the Alfa Romeo drivers, of Happy Man and of D10. Sweatback Flame gets himself back ahead of El Plan into 15th place. That's not...
5 ad.
Yeah, that's just...
Taki's gonna KMS.
Don't do that.
No.
Not good for your health. Yeah, all these gaps just starting to settle down a little bit. CR Mac definitely didn't want to be in this position, having started on the soft compound tyres, as they're all just snaking their way around the chicane. Zach Beast and Dan side by side as the Alpine driver seems to have got himself ahead, but no, Dan gets a much better exit and goes back right around the outside. Perkins is facing the wrong way on the entry to the chicane. Likely will have had some contact there. Dan did get himself back ahead of Zachus Beast, having got much better traction off the corner. And it's a long race for Perkins, but it does totally suck to be all the way down in P19.
Not a nice feeling. Not a nice feeling.
Yeah, just getting involved in 2 early incidents. Yeah, all these gaps just stretching themselves out. I think the smallest one at the moment is about 3/10 of a second, which is not that small, all things considered.
The top 6 are coping though. Top 6 are coping very well.
Yeah, they're all just sitting. This will become a DRS train now that DRS has activated. Although actually, DRS isn't exactly powerful around the circuit. CR Mac has had to serve his 5-second time penalty, so that's why he's dropped so far back, even more so than you'd expect for a pit stop. Unitos here has used quite a lot of his battery, but he's going to want to use a bit more to make sure he stays within the DRS of Fuzzle, but I don't think he's going to be close enough as they cross the DRS detection point just here, and he's a second and a half back, so this is really going to become the forming of 2 DRS trains. Jamie downwards, and then Unitos downwards are probably going to become 2 separate fields, like how we saw in Bahrain.
Pretty much, yeah. Pretty much, you're going to be spot on with that. It's going to be a scrap for the midfield as well. Oh, someone's gone really wide there. So I've swept back.
Quite
Yeah,
possibly is. He's on the curb again. Falls down to P17 behind his teammate and El Plan.
Yeah,
El Plan looking to go for a move on Zakis Beast, but he doesn't get the opportunity to through the S's. Mr. Business, though, has got past Frosted Cheese on the exit of the S's. Not quite sure where that happened, but...
just before this... just end of first sector, start of second.
Yeah, I didn't really mean... I meant more when than where or how.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm not... I mean, it's not a common overtaking opportunity, but he made it work, however.
Okay.
D10 has fallen back to just outside a second, so it may start to be 3 DRS trains forming if he can't gain back that advantage as Dan gets past War into second place. I think D10 will... The question is his straight line speed going to be enough? It's going to be very tight. I think he's just got it there. Yeah, 9/10 of a second. So it may remain as 2 separate trains rather than splitting into 3. Happy Man using a lot of his battery. Shakos using almost none, as he's still got 86% after the first 4 laps. D10 though, he's fallen to about a second. He is not going to stay in that train for long. But as I was saying with Unitos, he's completely fallen back. He's over 2 seconds behind now that he's lost that DRS. They go 3 wide through the first corner as El Plan gets sent off the track. Swearback Flame, Zakis Beast and El Plan went 3 wide through turn 1. And 3 into 1, especially in a corner like that, just doesn't go. El Plan forced to go wide and picked up a track limits violation for it as well. Although actually what I was saying about D10, he has closed it back in to just under 9/10 of a second, so hope may still be on for him.
Yeah, he's hanging on, and he needs that TRS.
Yeah. And once he loses that DRS, that's when he loses his train. But he's got it nicely safe as 7/10 now, so he'll nicely remain in this train. As Jack Imac gets himself ahead of War into 13th place. Making up the positions through the field is Jack Imac, considering got tagged and... I'd assume he got tagged when he was facing the wrong way on the first lap.
Yeah.
I know he went around, but the question is, was he spun or did he just spin, or was it his fault? Was it someone else's fault?
We'll find out after.
Unitos tumbling down the order. He just doesn't have the DRS. Petaflat and Rocky both go through.
It was good for the McLaren boys.
Oh, a bit out of shape there from Happy Man. Cost him a 10th or 2 on the exit of, that would have been turn 6, maybe 7. But he should still safely be within the DRS of Shakos. Unless the Ferrari just goes on a bit of a rampage and pulls out that gap. Unitos right on the bumper of Rocky, and so is Mr. Business, almost pushing him through that hairpin there. But nothing does come of it. They both remain facing the right way, and I'd assume with no damage, considering that we run on reduced and it was only a minor tap. On sim that might have become a problem, but highly doubted on reduced. Shakos definitely does seem to be closing up, and he's still got an almost full battery here. And
Yeah,
I think it's going to be this
straight.
lap when he goes for it. He's very close to the back of Jamie Dodge. He's just waiting, choosing his moment, and I think that moment may be right now. So they go around the final corner again. And with the DRS, he's still not deploying any, considering he might have had a chance to go for a move if he did. But he's just going to stick behind for another lap or two. Rocky gets past Petter Flat for P7. Petter Flat getting a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings. Now side by side with Limb Water through the S's and just kind of squeezing himself back through. Someone went off there, but I'm not sure
Yeah, Fresh went off. It was Fresh.
Oh, yeah, he's coming to the pit lane as well. But that mistake from Happy Man means D10 might end up dropping this train, because now it's D10 might drop this train because he had his teammate in between him and Shakos before, but now he's got to be within a second to Shakos, and he's only 9/10 back. So at the moment he'd be fine. But if he has a bad run through Spoon, or if just Shakos has a good run, that will probably cost him the DRS, as Shakos does get a much superior exit. But the Ferrari does typically run quite high downforce, and that's evident as D10 nicely catching him back down the straight. Here goes Limb Water into 130R down the inside. Wasn't particularly into 130R, it was more down the straight, but still, quite a bold move to even think about going for it there. But what it does mean is that he's not going to get the DRS to D10, and instead that's going to fall to Happy Man. Here goes Shakos, though this time around he does deploy his DRS, he does go for the move, and he moves up into the race lead ahead of the Mercedes. It did definitely feel like it was only a matter of time, and that matter of time is now, as he moves up.
Inevitable.
Yeah, like, he was gaining so much every lap, and he finally started deploying his battery. He still has 90%, which is crazy.
He just looks so confident. He just looks so confident.
Yeah.
And look how much time he's running away from Jamie now. You know, he's gained about 3 times in the first sector. That's absolutely insane.
Yeah, some of that is just the nature of being ahead. But it is definitely assisted by the pace of the German, as he's going to try and break that DRS barrier, but he's probably not going to be able to do so. And I think we're just going to see a similar situation for the next few laps, but this time it's Jamie Dodge that's just staying close, not going for a move. As Unitos moved himself up off Mr. Business, Fresh is back into the pit lane again, this time going for a set of the medium compound. Possibly he was just doing that to free up a tyre allocation, like that first stop, because he was dropping to the back anyway, and he's not a lap down. Oh, it's a big slap from Jamie Dodge. That's going to cost him massively on the exit. He's got no chance of going for a move. This time D10 might be close enough to go for a move. These two made contact in the previous race in Bahrain. D10 to the inside. He's squeezing his way through. It looked like he had the move done before the corner, but he did have to. Yeah, I thought he would have had it before the corner, but Jamie did put up a fight still. And D10 moves himself up into second place.
That's not going to help Jamie at all as well, having that.
Yeah, one big slide.
Right in the middle.
Yeah,
a massive sandwich now.
Now the question is, can Shakos pull a second to D10 instead of a second to Jamie? Because that, honestly, like, with all due respect, that is a very different objective. It's
slightly different, yeah.
Yeah, like it's two drivers that have different pace in different parts of the track. One definitely appears to be faster on raw pace than the other, especially if these two keep fighting. If they fight through turn one again, that's going to be the sort of thing that just allows Shakos to pull away, which is probably partly why Jamie didn't fight it too hard. Obviously he did try to hang it around the outside, but it's not like he sent it again. Fuzzle has having Man's fallen off the back of Liam Wilder, and that means Fuzzle is right on the back of the Alfa Romeo. He could be in the position to get himself back up to the train. I think CR Max had a little mistake through that first sector, down in 19th place, not having
Oh, look at
a
Liam
good
Water.
race. Yeah, here goes Liam Ward on Jamie Dodge, who really seems to have just lost the pace here, as now he loses out to Liam on the inside.
Yeah. Well.
Yeah, as Fuzzle has also got past Happy Man. CR-Max gone off again. Hopefully he's not going to pick up any damage, because that's the sort of thing that could cause a safety car or a virtual safety car that just could completely interfere with the Grand Prix. But it does mean that now it's Shakos leading from D10 and Liam Boulder rather than Jamie Dodge.
Yeah, looking strong now. Look at Shakov's nearly out of that DRS. Still got 2 times to do.
Yeah, and then D10 is faster on the straights, which will nicely benefit him through this middle and final sector. Like, I'm sure Shakos will be the fastest driver in Sector 1. It's just that
By a mile.
Yeah. It's just now that D10... Now that Shakos doesn't quite have that 1 second margin, Shakos is now... or D10 is now going to close back in on him. And Shakos really needs more than a second by the exit of Spoon if he wants to break that DRS. But the gaps he has should mean it's nicely enough to...
to stay ahead.
Yeah. Shouldn't be at any risk of losing out, as Mr. Business
no
got past Petter Flat into... on the run to 130R. And he's almost having a look at going for the move on Rocky, but he just has to back out. Didn't get the opportunity to go for the move. As in the pit lane comes Frosted Cheese off that soft compound tyre. Is it mediums or is it hards that he's going to go onto? It's
hard tyres.
Yes, the white walled hard compound. And that is going to be the one and only stop that Frosted Cheese is planning to make in this Grand Prix. And all of these guys at the moment, I think, are just going to sit here and keep in this train, because the top 6 are all in this lovely DRS train, and just pulling each other along.
Yeah. Anyone could win it in the top 6, really.
I think it's
Still
more likely to
faithful.
be out of the top 4, if I'm being honest.
Yeah. I mean, well, you got to be in it to win it. If you don't buy a ticket, you don't win
Yeah,
the lottery. But look at
and
D10.
Happy Man has completely fallen off the base. Here goes D10 around the outside, but in doing so, in making that move, he has given up the DRS to Shakos, who around the final corner will have the rear wing flap open, and he's actually using battery this time around as Shakos. He wants to keep that race lead, and he does so by pulling to the inside, and D10 can't really fight that. He had its glimpse of glory, but then Shakos just cut back across, covered him off, and he remains in the race lead. Yeah, Happy Man's tyres certainly appear to have hit a bit of a cliff at the moment, as Fuzzle is much, much faster at this stage of the race. But in making that move, honestly, it's not that bad of a decision from D10, because it's massively worn down Shakos' battery as he fought back to maintain control of the race in the lead. So
Yeah.
it won't have cost D10 too much, as he did have quite low ERS numbers anyway. But
It was smart from Shakovs to
yeah,
pull out and think about DRS as well. I think
just let him go, backed off. Because really,
It benefited both.
whoever was ahead into that chicane was going to be behind into turn 1, unless the other got a really awful exit. And D10's gaining again. He might try to do it again, you know. This time he goes to the inside. I actually went to the inside last time. Same thing again. Shakos is just going to prioritise the exit as they come around the final corner. D10 gets a little bit out of shape, and that is probably going to be pretty much all he can do to defend against Shakos, who pulls to the inside and again retakes the race lead even earlier than on the previous lap. Rocky comes into pit lane from P8, dropping himself down the field now. Yeah, but Shakos leads again from D10, and honestly, D10's pace at this stage of the race does not seem to be poor at all.
It's not too shabby from the Alfa Romeo.
Yeah, it's
He's
just...
had bad luck this season. And
Yeah.
he deserves a good result.
Just the question is, will he have that consistency across the next 14 laps as well? Like, there's still 14 and a half laps to go. And will he be able to maintain that position, that pace throughout the race? I think the answer might be no, as he's dropped all the way back to 7/10 from Shakos. Although a decent run through Spoon will put him in a very similar position to the previous laps. So it's probably possibly just the nature of their setups. It's about 6.8 tenths at the exit of Spoon, and here they go again. But I think this time around, D10 might be a bit too far back.
Looking like it now, yeah.
As Fresh set the fastest lap of the race last time around on 5-lap-old mediums as well. So a pace. Oh, that's in the pit lane. Yeah.
In the pit lane. Oh, thank goodness for that.
Yeah, that would have really interrupted the flow of this race had they stayed out. Here goes D10, but he's not far. He's not close enough, and he has to stick behind. Jamie Dodge is into the pit lane. So is Happy Man and Fuzzle. So the three of them, kind of the bottom end of that train, have all come into the pit lane. The AlphaTauri there, obviously our Mac might end up actually getting in their way a little bit as all three of them exit the pit lane now. They're going to end up just behind Zacchaeus Beast. Jamie Dodge goes down the inside and gets... Yeah, they all just slotted their way past.
Yeah.
There's quite a small gap that Jamie Dodge went for. I mean, honestly, I wouldn't have put that much trust in the AI.
Yeah.
But as they all come round Spoon again... I think again we're going to see a pretty similar situation, but this time Shakos dives into the pit lane. They all dive into the pit lane, reacting to those earlier stops. Going very wide there is Jack Imac through the chicane. Neither of them choosing to come into the pit lane.
So Jamie's just coming up to the final corner now. Coming across the start-finish straight. Shaq is... Oh, he might get done here. Oh, it's going to be tight, though.
Yeah, he might lose out to Jamie Dodge here if they go into turn one. He's going to be just ahead of Zacchaeus Beast. Jamie Dodge... Yeah, he just swings his way around the outside, and it's Zacchaeus Beast, really, that won that position for him. Because Shakos had to mind... Oh, there's contact with the Alpine!
Ooh.
That is...
Oh.
Yeah, it's not ideal. Jamie Dodge and Zacchaeus Beast make contact as he's trying to clear the much slower car, and that's just really cost Zacchaeus Beast a lot of time.
Oh, see what the stewards think about that.
Yeah.
Oh. Not going to be a major pen, but slightest of penalties can make the biggest difference.
But that does mean Jamie Dodge has retaken the race lead. Whether he has the raw pace or the actual pace to be in that position or not, he is there right now. As Mr. Business comes into the pit lane from the race lead, as they come round the final corner.
Jeez, they're having a little scrap. Happy Man trying to capitalise on it all.
And he does at the fastest lap of the race, does the Alfa Romeo. Fastest driver on track at this stage. There's a yellow flag. El Plan has had a bit of a spin through 130R. But
So it's beyond Mark said, hangover.
Yeah,
Is too
yeah.
much for this track. Fair enough, mate. Fair enough.
and the question is, will Shakos... what's their pace looking like on the mediums? And how much will Shakos prioritise track position, and how much he'll just prioritise saving battery, saving tyres, and just waiting behind? This is the fastest lap of the race again from Fresh on 8-lap-old tyres, so...
He'll probably do the same again, won't he?
Yeah.
I mean, he's got the pace.
Oh, going very wide
Can't
there
do it.
is War through Spoon, losing out to Rocky and to Unatos. Shakos has closed that gap down to within 0.3 of a second. It appears that somehow Jamie's setup is even higher downforce than Shakos's. As they
Could be
come round the final corner again, Jack Imac into the pit lane. So this is for the race lead on the track as well. Here goes Shakos to the inside. Is he close enough? Yes, he is. Down the inside he goes. And Shakos moves back into the race lead, where his pace does definitely appear to belong. Jack Imac has gone for the soft tyres. Fastest lap of the race from Dan. And D10 might have just lost the DRS there to Jamie, but he will likely get it back through the next sector or so,
Yeah.
as he is much quicker in a straight line. And Jamie Dodge is not particularly close to Shakos, considering how much battery he's just deployed there. And he's still half a second back, so I think it will be too much down the straight, considering his straight line deficit as well.
Yeah, we'll see what he does now.
It's a fast lap of the race again from Shakos. Jamie Dodge is closing, but he's not going to be closing enough. He's got to sit behind if he wants to... don't know where I'm going with that. He's just got to... He's just got to
He's
sit
got
behind.
to get closer. Yeah, he's got to get close. He needs to get closer if he wants a proper chance.
As into the pit lane comes War from... he's just coming out onto the track, probably down in 15th place. And again, D10's just dropped to outside a second, but he's gonna reel him straight back in down this next straight with 9 laps to go at the end of this one. And Fuzzle's completely dropped off this train now that he's on that hard compound. I guess, yeah, he would have been much faster due to having those faster tyres.
Closely on this, goodness me.
Yeah, he's not due to go for a move just yet. He's also got a lot more battery to play with as they come round the final corner again for the 18th time this race. Jamie Dodge is not close enough. Liam Warner might be close enough. Is he pushed to the outside? They're going to go wheel to wheel again through the first couple of corners, round turn 2. He's just got to back out to D10. He's still got to wheel up the inside, but he can't. He doesn't have a feasible chance to go through. Can he stick a wheel somewhere through this section? It looked like he'd try it, but there's no opportunities to. And D10 will hold him off for at least another lap. I mean, looking at ERS numbers, Shakos on 70, Jamie on 60, D10 on about 10, Liam on 40, Happy Man on 10. So it's definitely advantage Shakos at this stage on the freshest, or the joint freshest tyres out of everyone in the race lead, with lower wings than Jamie has. and with a bit more ERS. So I think all things considered, he's in a very good position right now.
Happy position, very comfortable.
Yeah.
Knows what he's doing.
As round the final corner they go again, but I think the gaps will have stretched out a bit too much for any overtaking chances. Jack Imax rather close to the back of Unitos. He might pull to the inside here, but he doesn't have the straight line speed to do so. He definitely seems to be... Oh, he's gone to the back of the Aston Martin there, actually. As he definitely is faster, and I think just kind of frustration caught up to him. And he tapped the back of Unitos through the first corner. Thankfully, neither of them have damage or any spin or such like. Here he goes. He's going to go for it into the deckness. He's on the outside. Unitos is still there. There's a bit of contact between the two of them. That unfortunately Mr. Business off the track, as Unitos was not in control of his car. Mr. Business goes wide again and drops and stays down in 10th and picked up a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings. Yeah, had a little tap from Jack Imac, and then that just sent him spearing out of control, and pretty much left Business with nowhere to go. He went off the track and got a warning for track limits.
And off he goes again.
Yeah, off goes Jack Imac again. He's really been on the charge today, having been last on lap 1. He didn't have any opportunity to go for a move into 130R. He might send it around the outside into the chicane. He gets the DRS as well. They tap rear wheels as Rocky got a bit of a drift. He caught Jack Imac's rear, and Mr. Business got involved in that as well. Somehow Jack Imac's still facing the right way. Mr. Business has damage. He's forced into the pit lane. And Jack Imac's just gonna run off and hope no one saw that. And I don't think it was his fault, because Rocky just kind of kicked out the rears, and then Rocky's left rear caught Jack's right rear.
We'll see what the steward say about that.
It certainly didn't appear to be at the fault of the Red Bull, but he still might prefer.
I think Rocky,
if that
Rocky
incident isn't mentioned.
Rocky was ahead of the braking zone in all fairness, and he had the inside covered really, but.
And then Jack tried to go around the outside. Rocky had a bit of a drift, and they just banged rear wheels. There's a yellow flag. That's a Haas car who's gone off. That's likely Frosted Cheese through the first sector. Believe it was. Although he's back up to racing speed now. And there's at the front, it's basically just been a DRS train all race. Liam Wilder is still in the negatives for fuel.
Yeah, not looking good for him. It's not looking good.
I assume he was kind of hoping for a safety car at some point. And as long as he stays within 3 seconds of Happy Man, he will still get that P4. As Mr. Business goes past Perkins for P16, having had to change his front wing. As Perkins goes for the move again on Mr. Business. These two are probably just going to have a scrap for the rest of the race. Now that they're both out of position on fresh or relatively fresh softs. As Mr. Business goes around the outside into the first corner. And nothing more will come of that for the time being. And it's the fastest lap of the race again from Fresh, setting a 28.5. But down in 19th, that won't make too much difference for him. I mean, it won't gain him any points. Might take some points away from someone else. And Jack Imac, speaking, now that I'm thinking of it, he's caught right up to Fuzzle. He'll easily get P6 here. Assuming there aren't any...
depending on penalties, yeah.
Yeah, assuming there aren't any penalties going his way.
Shout out to Dan as well.
Yeah, Dan's had a...
Now in P9.
Yeah, I mean, it's been a pretty quiet race from the Ferrari driver. Not been making headlines. Yeah, but...
But, yeah, it's done well. Done really well.
Yeah, just a quietly good drive to be in P9. And it's the fastest lap of the race from Mr. Business, taking it away from the Aston Martin.
I swear, if he does that again for the third time this race, and I don't know he's got the fastest lap, I'm going to kick myself.
I mean, that shouldn't happen, because you'll see it on the results, but...
But unfortunately, when I screenshot the results, Tom's not in the top 14.
I mean, it'll be on the stream still, on the results.
I know, but I can't be bothered to look back.
Just, like, look at it. Just do be bothered. Jack Imac's completely caught up to Fuzzle now, though. He's about a second a lap faster at this stage, and he's got that gap too within 7/10. And it's looking like a move into the first corner will be on its way shortly. Although probably not this time around, as he's not particularly close. And it's a 3-second time penalty for Unitos down in P8, and that could cost him to Dan, who's currently sitting within 3 seconds to the Aston Martin. But it's not particularly... I don't know if it will be much faster. He is on decently fresher tyres, though. And they're all conserving their ERS. I think they're all going for one big push at the end to try to make up a few positions or just maintain their current position. Yeah, 3 full laps, or 3 laps to go once they next cross the line, as Mr. Business gets past Zacchus Beast into P15. Perkins has completely fallen off compared to Mr. Business. They were close to each other, now she's a bit over 5 seconds behind.
Oh, Tom had a snap there through Sector 1. Lucky to keep it on the track.
And he's still pulling away from Zacchus Beast, to be fair. But that's partly just down to...
Tyres.
Yeah, it's the tyre advantage. Jamie Dodge is certainly closer than he has been recently, but it's not a great exit from him through the final corner.
Yeah,
it's not been a great exit from him, and he's not going to be close enough. Yeah, it wasn't a great exit, and he's not close enough to do anything about that. And here comes Jack Imac on Fuzzle. He's got the run, he's got the DRS, and I don't think there's going to be much Fuzzle can do about that one. And the Red Bull's gaining, but he's not actually going to be close enough to go for one into turn 1. He might fancy one into the Degners again, which he's tried a few times in this Grand Prix. Yeah, it's through the S's. He's very close. He might fancy one into the first Degner. He's trying to sneak a wheel up the inside, but he's not close enough. Jack Imac will not have the chance just yet. Possibly a dive bomb into the hairpin could be in order here from Jack Imac. Is he close enough to go for one? No, he's not. He sticks behind. And around turn 12 they go again. Yeah, Jack's just not going to be close enough to do anything. You can get a real sense of speed through this sort of section of the racetrack. So they chuck it in through 12 so quickly. And then it's a very fast left-hander of turn 13. Here goes Jack Imac into 130R on the inside. Could risk giving the DRS. It does risk giving the DRS away. Could risk losing the position again to Fuzzle. But it's 11-lap-old hards that he's fighting against, so Fuzzle won't get the greatest of exits. He's not particularly close down the straight, but he's much faster in a straight line, and he's going to go straight back through into turn 1, and Jack Imac's going to have to do it all over again. as Petter Flat goes past Dan into P9. Dan quite low on fuel as well. We're on the penultimate lap now, and actually Shakos has started using his ERS, so Jamie Dodge has a tiny little bit more than the Ferrari driver, but I doubt that 3% is going to make that much difference in the long run, or more like in the short run, as there's only 2 laps to go. Liam Wilder might have just lost the DRS to D10. He's also having to fuel save while having very low ERS numbers, the lowest out of this top 4. Although I think he will get it back, or get the DRS back, as they go in towards 130R. Although D10's much quicker in a straight line, he might actually lose it. And he will lose the DRS there, so that's Liam Wilder's hopes of anything more than 4th pretty much down the drain. But we go on to the final lap now, and this is when it becomes now or never. Shakos is using a lot of battery here. Jamie Dodge is not, interestingly enough. He's still got 50% of his battery remaining, but he has still closed a decent amount on Shakos through or down that pit straight. Liam Wilder's having to fuel save. His light was flashing as they went into the final chicane. So, Jack Imac going wide as he tries to go for the move on Fuzzle. Fuzzle might just about hold on, or just hold off the Red Bull on this final lap. But I think it's going to be one last send into the final chicane of turn 16 that Jamie Dodge is going for. He's half a second back, but he's got about 20% more battery than Shakos. But I'm not sure if it's going to be enough, yeah.
I can't see it happening.
Liam Wilder's going to have to fuel save a lot. He could risk losing out to Happy Man if he's not too careful. But at the same time, as Rocky just going off there through the first sector, he's out of fuel. So Rocky's run out of fuel. He's running on empty. And that'll invite El Plan through. Liam Wilder has gone. He's gone. Happy Man is going to get P4. Unless he has any penalties going his way. As he passes Liam Wilder here, Jamie Dodge was not close enough, and through the final chicane into turn 1, he's not going to be close enough. And around the final corner they go. Shakos wins in Japan. Jamie Dodge pushed him all the way, but couldn't get close enough. D10 comes home P3. Happy Man benefiting at the end to come home P4. Liam Wilder limping home in P5. Fuzzle's not going to be close enough to get him. Jack Imac running out of fuel as well. Can only manage P7. Unatos comes home P8. Petter Flat's going to be P9. And Dan, also out of fuel, will come home P10. El Plan coming home P11. Frosted Cheese also out of fuel. It's a high fuel consumption track, this one. And there was no safety cars, so it's understandable that a lot of people did mess up their fuel. Frosted Cheese, P14. Zakis Beast does finish ahead after time penalties are applied. Perkins P16. Sweatback Flame is going to come home P17. Rocky's facing the wrong way at the final chicane, and he'll come home P19. Oh, he's out of fuel as well. So he's very much going to limp home. He's limping home in the pit lane.
And here we go with first ticket of the night.
Nice.
Or is that an appeal? It's an appeal.
Yeah, it's Dan appealing.
Never mind.
I assume. Or maybe it's John Lot. It's one or the other.
Probably.
I mean, they both said they would appeal if they get penalties. So, Shakos does come out victorious in Japan, followed by Jamie Dodge and D10. Happy Man coming home P4 after getting lucky with Liam Wilder's fuel consumption. And then it's Fuzzle and Jack Imac, followed by Unatos, Petter Flat and Dan. Then outside the points is War, El Plan, Mr. Business, Zakis Beast, Frosted Cheese, Perkins, Sweatback Flame, and Rocky and Fresh, the last of the finishers. The only retirement being CR Mac in the pit lane. My driver for the day probably like has to be Jack Imac, like P20 to P7. It was a good drive. He really probably should have ended up ahead of Fuzzle,
wasn't it? Yeah, it was a really good recovery from him, really.
Yeah.
Getting spun out lap 1 and then, I mean, a bit aggressive, maybe a little bit too aggressive. Past some of the drivers, but overall, you know, stellar job from him to get to where he was. But no, like I think credits to Happy Man as well on his debut, did extremely well. Dan as well had a very good performance. Petaflat as well, that's another one to mention. So, but yeah, I think I agree. Driver of the day, Jack Imac.
Yeah. Alright, so that was the Japanese Grand Prix, and thank you for everyone watching the stream. And we will see you next week, where we have... good question, where do we have? It's Tier 2. I think it is here at Suzuka, and then Tier 1, racing in Monaco. Until then, have a good rest of your evening, and good night.